Hi, and welcome to Author Uncut. I'm your host and author, Patrice Williams Marks. Today is part 2 of my series, Nailing the Differences Between Writing a Novel and Writing a Screenplay. But first, if you enjoy my podcast, I'd be grateful if you spread the word by leaving a rating and a review. Author Uncut can be found wherever you enjoy listening to your podcast. So what's another difference between writing a novel and writing a screenplay? As a screenwriter, you have to consider the budget. That is extremely important. Screenplays are written to be sold or produced. The first thing a producer will want to know is the estimated budget, the number of cast members, locations, special effects, set pieces, the scope of the project, the number of sets needed. All of that determines the budget. Say you have a horror screenplay. You need to make sure that it could be considered a low-budget screenplay. If you've written a horror screenplay which takes place across the globe with a cast of 20 people and requires on-location shooting, you will be shopping that script around forever. Horror screenplays are generally low budget, which means they can be shot for between $500,000 and $5 million. They have very limited cast members, limited locations, and no high-end locations or special effects or expensive aerial shots needed to pull it off. That is why there are so many horror slasher films that take place in one location, such as the woods, a creepy house, an abandoned farm, a cabin, an abandoned hotel. You get the point. The less you have to move the entire production, the more cost-effective it is. So, when writing your screenplay, you have to be aware of how many set pieces there are, the type and budget for those set pieces. Can that be reduced? Are there any car chases, any special effects, any explosions? Is it a historical piece which will require a ton of specialized set pieces, sets, costumes, dialogue coaches, horses, etc.? All of these factors must be taken into account when writing a screenplay. About 18 years ago, yes, it's been that long, I entered Project Greenlight's screenwriting competition. This was a project that was put on through Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Project Greenlight was a documentary television series focusing on first-time filmmakers that were given the chance to write and direct their own feature film. Screenwriters entered their scripts for the possibility of being produced by the two actors. Now, I made a big mistake. Without taking budget into consideration, I submitted my best script at the time, which was called Mountains of the Moon. It was a story of Florence and Sam Baker. It was based on a true story, and it was a very epic story. The story spanned across the globe, from England to Hungary to Africa, just to name a few places. I didn't take into account the budget when I submitted the screenplay. And again, that was a big mistake. I dug my own grave. My screenplay did make it to the semifinals before eventually being cut. Want to know who won? The first winner was a film called Stolen Summer, which was an intimate story about these two little boys, and one was dying. One was Christian and one was Jewish. It was limited locations, it had limited characters, and it was very heavy on story. Season 3 of Project Greenlight, the winner was a script called Feast. It was a horror film, surprise, surprise, where the main location is a bar where everyone was held up, fending off the monsters. However, as far as writing a novel, you're as free as a bird. You are expected to write in as many details as possible. Don't skimp on the details. You're free to place your story anywhere in the globe. Have as many characters as you wish. You have no limitations. You don't have to consider permits, budgets, because there is no budget. Does your story take place in the 1700s? No problem. What about a modern-day Noah's Ark story? Have as many animals as you want. Put your characters on the top of a volcano, in the Amazon jungle, in Buckingham Palace, the White House, anywhere. Have as many characters as you want. Again, there are no limits when writing a novel. Your story can be intimate or expansive. It can be spectacular or quaint. It's all up to you. So, have you ever tried or succeeded in turning a screenplay into a novel, or vice versa? I'd love to hear about your process. Let me know by visiting my Anchor.fm page, the link is in the show notes, and click on the button Send Voice Message to leave me a voicemail. I may just use your voicemail in a future podcast. Join me next time when I share with you secrets to getting high-quality book covers for free. Free is a very good price indeed. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd be grateful if you spread the word by leaving a rating and a review. It really does help other listeners find me. And don't forget to tell your family and friends. Author Uncut can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you enjoy listening. Want to suggest a show episode or get in touch? Visit me at authoruncut.com or send me an email at mailbag@patricewilliamsmarks.com. And finally, to join our email list, go to authoruncut.com. Until next time, write on.